So let's now move on to our next session. This one is entitled Digital Public Goods and AI, Transforming the Society. So I'd like to welcome our panelists to the stage. If you would, give them a warm round of applause as they enter. First off, Ms. Audrey Tang, Government of Taiwan Cyber Ambassador at Large and First Digital Minister, 2016 to 2024. Next up, Mr. David Ha, Sakana AI co-founder and CEO. And moderating this session, Heartcatch Incorporated CEO, producer, Ms. Mariko Nishimura.
Okay, there.
I love that outfit. We should have seen you on the green stage yesterday.
Yes, I am green.
皆様いかがですか? 拍手お願いします.
お願いします。
That's really nice. Okay, fits well with the red background. Okay, so Mariko-san, if you're ready, I'm going to just give it over to you.
Yeah, all right, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Great. Yeah, actually, I am like a Christmas color. But hello, nice to join this session. And this session's topic is digital public goods, digital 公共財 and AI. And I am a host for this event, Mariko from Heartcatch. And please join me welcoming the huge, outstanding panel. First, Audrey Tang. And also David Ha from Sakana AI. So shall we start? All right? Okay. So today's topic is digital public goods. I'm so curious, how many of you already working on the digital public goods? Could you please raise your hand? Oh, great. Maybe, oh yeah, of course, you too. Maybe half or maybe 1/3 of the audience working on the digital public goods. That is good. But I want to explain for others who is not working on the digital public goods yet. So the digital public goods definition in the United Nations is open source software, open data, open AI models, and open data standards, open content. Those contribute to the sustainable development. And not only for the United Nations, in Japan, METI, Keisansho also supports this concept, and especially using this for the industrial and societal challenges. So today's guest already working on this digital public goods and AI. So here, Audrey and also David, could you please explain yourself and introduce yourself and what kind of the work for the digital public goods
Great.
already?
Yeah, thank you. Very happy to be here. I'm Taiwan's Cyber Ambassador and the First Digital Minister. Some of you may know that during the COVID times in 2020, every country have shortage of masks. And many people see the shortage and they are afraid that they cannot get the mask sufficiently. Some people distrust the government, saying they're hiding the mask somewhere. And some people distrust each other, saying that you're hoarding mask somewhere. Some people say the mask is only distributed to city, but not to rural places, or only to rural places, but not cities, and so on. So digital public good, to me, means mutual trust. If all the information, all the data, all the software concentrated only in the government or in one very big corporation, even though that corporation or the government may be very good, doing very good things, people do not participate. They do not have a voice, and therefore no trust. In Taiwan, we publish every 30 seconds the mask, where it's going, who in the which street corner, which pharmacy they buy it. So every time they buy it, after 30 seconds, the entire nation have the same open data, and people can display it however way they want. Some people make a navigation, so it makes it very easy to find where are the masks near you. Some people make a dashboard to show the supply and demand. Some people make better suggestions on how to route each incoming mask. Because everybody can contribute, it's very transparent. Because it's transparent, there is mutual trust. So to me, public good means that what the private entity cannot gain the trust, they use public sharing to give people voice, to give people choice. And no matter which of the 200 mask map you use, you share the common good, the public good of the shared open data and API. So that is a small story to illustrate the mutual trust from public good.
Thank you so much. And could you please explain the plurality too in the meaning of the digital public goods? Because digital public goods is important for the plurality policy too.
Yes. Plurality is a very simple idea. It says there should be many, many people, each have a different idea of where AI and technology should go, and there should be technology that find out the common ground, what most people want and do agree with. Compare that with singularity. Singularity is another simple idea. It says some people, small amount of group, build a very powerful AI. And the AI makes next generation AI. The next generation AI make even more powerful AI.
Yeah.
And so it's called a takeoff. It's like a rocket that escape the control of humanity. And at some point, nobody will be able to understand or control AI anymore. This is called singularity. And so plurality means instead of just taking off and go to the space or somewhere, leaving all the humanity behind, plurality means leaving no one behind. So whenever there is a new AI advance, a new invention, many, many people should have a copy. So it's like when I was born, people use the mainframe computer. They have to use punch card terminal to get all the data into the super computer center. And the supercomputer administrators see everything from everyone. But then came personal computing. Personal computing means everybody can use their personal computer on a spreadsheet to do calculation. And their private data, very secure, do not need to send somewhere else. And also more importantly, if you don't like how the spreadsheet works, you can change the spreadsheet software. You don't have to wait for the mainframe to update. And so that is plurality. It means diffusion, resilience, openness, so that everybody have their hands on the steering wheel instead of just a rocket where we cannot steer its direction.
Thank you so much. And today's topic, digital public goods, digital 公共財. Actually, Taiwan also using the 公共財.
Yes.
Same kanji, right?
Yes, same kanji. We pronounce it as 公共財, but same idea.
All right.
Collective fortune.
Great. So sometimes digital public goods is just for the object, but we kind of the 公共財, 財 is a fortune and also the treasury. So it is important to create them together. So I prefer using the 公共財 sometimes. But thank you, Audrey. So next, David-san. Yay, everybody please,拍手 for them.
Well, thanks for having me here, Mariko and Audrey. And so I'm David Ha, the co-founder and CEO of Sakana AI. And with regard to digital public good, it's actually a term that I recently learned about through this event. And based on the definition, I would argue that AI is one of the most important technologies that should be classified as a digital public good. When we think about it, it's going to empower our knowledge, augment our intelligence, like help us be more productive, and also help with the governments and enterprise and all layers of society. So when the reason that I started this company 18 months ago with my two co-founders, Ren Ito and Lion Jones, is because we realized that even though I didn't know the term digital public good, that AI is such an important global technology. And at the time, or even now, most of the AI development is done in other countries such as US or China, but Japan is a leading country in the world. I've lived here, I'm not a Japanese person, but I lived here for more than 10 years as a long-term resident, and we love this country. And we think that Japan should have a chance to develop its own AI ecosystem, not only producing models, but also have the know-how, have the guidance of how it uses its own IP data, what values to put into its AI systems. So we founded this company called Sakana AI, which means fish, suitable for sushi tech. And our goal is to produce a world-class R&D company focused on AI development, based in Japan for Japan's needs.
Yay.
So I guess the term is to democratize AI in Japan. And we are, by no means, we are not a charity. We are a for-profit company. We mainly focus at the moment on enterprise and the public sector. But through our R&D, we also engage in, I would say, producing digital public goods, open source projects, because we think it's a mutual beneficial, 1 + 1 greater than 2 type of activity. And in this talk, we're going to talk about some of the case studies that my company has produced, such as making state-of-the-art small models that have Japanese values embedded that run on device, even some models that embed parts of like Japanese culture. Recently, we produced a really fun Edo period chatbots that people really like to play with. And also with AI, as Audrey talked about, we can either go towards the path of singularity or plurality. So we can have AI self-improve and outperform humans, but we can put these tools in all of our hands. So in an important area like scientific discovery, our company has also developed a system called the AI Scientists, which we have open source, allowing everyone to use frontier models to produce new innovations that they can share with everyone. So I think this is going to be an exciting conversation later today.
Wow, thank you so much. So, my name is Mariko again, and actually, where I'm working for the digital public goods is I'm a member of the DigDAO. DigDAO is working for creating the supporting digital public goods. Recently, we have a Toban, so to visualizing the contribution. And myself called pollinator. Pollinator is a bee. I am a bee as connecting the company and the startup and sometimes art and industries. So plurality, a lot of things need to pollination. So I think the pollinator is also important too for the plurality world. So let's back to the topic. So digital public goods and AI. So why now we should talking about it? Is now we face on lots of challenges like population decline. Of course, almost every day in Japan we have a news of population shrinking kind of thing. So this is a big challenge, and also not only for the challenge but also the chance or opportunity we also have, because now economical transition. Of course, the tariff kind of things, a lot of kind of things happening, but this is an opportunity. Before, we are kind of the supply-driven, the company or enterprise or maybe the government are creating the system. Then citizens ourselves just need to use it. Maybe customize those clauses to myself. But now, the open source and also the digital public goods can fit to my demand. So we can change from the supply-driven model to the demand-driven model. So to creating this demand-driven model, as Audrey said, the voice and choice is very important. Because nowadays technology, of course AI, Sakana AI we can use, and also a lot of the open data we have. But the important thing is we should make a voice, hey, I need this. And also choose what is important for this community or society. Audrey, if you have some comment on this, voice and choice.
Yes. To me, as a minister, I pioneered the idea of getting people's ideas through broad listening, not just broadcasting. Broadcasting is just one voice to million people.
That's true.
But broad listening means that millions of people's voice can synthesize like one person's voice. So you can have a real-time dialogue with 1 million people, and 1 million people can have a real-time dialogue together. Compare that to social media. Many people on SNS, it's not about listening, it's about shouting.
That's true.
I broadcast to other side. I think the other side is very bad. The other side shouts back, think I'm even worse. And so people spend a lot of time screaming at each other. So it's not listening, it's just broadcasting, but even noisier, right? But in broad listening, we use AI so that instead of giving the voice that are extreme, a lot of volume, we give the voice in the middle, a lot of volume. So a very simple change makes it possible for people to see what kind of voice can speak to both sides. We call them bridges.
Yeah.
So the bridges gets more voice, and the bridge makers become the new choice. One very quick example. Last March, we saw a lot of deepfake because of AI. Makes it easy for people to take a picture of Audrey and then start posting advertisement saying Audrey is giving you crypto. Audrey is giving you some free stock. Of course, I have no such thing to give, but many people say that. And if you click the advertisement, Audrey starts speaking to you. It sounds like me, but it's not me. It's an AI clone. So for social media, they earn money from those advertisements. So they do not do much to control the issue. So in Taiwan, we sent SMS text message to 200,000 random numbers in Taiwan from 111, our official number, asking, how do you feel about this deepfake situation? What should we do? Because if we go to SNS, people will say, oh, the government should censor social media. The other side will say, oh, government shouldn't gain too much power, no censorship, and no result. But by asking people, how do you feel? And then people get together in the room of 10. So 450 people volunteered. Random sample of Taiwanese citizens go to 45 rooms, each room 10 people. So we talk among each other, and then AI just real-time summarize the good idea and show the good idea that people can agree on, the bridge to the people. So for example, one room say, we should make sure if Audrey do not sign the advertisement, it should display as probable scam. Very good idea.
Wow,
the other group say, if somebody gets scammed, $5 million, but Facebook did not get signature from Audrey, then Facebook should be liable for the damage. They should pay $5 million. Another room say, ByteDance, TikTok, they don't have Taiwan office. So if we make them viable, they can ignore us. What to do? They say we should slow down connection to TikTok, slow down gradually, video load very slowly. All their business will go to Google or Facebook, so they will listen. So these ideas, they're not censorship, right? So we implement those ideas in May in a draft law, and then it became in effect this year. So you scroll in Taiwan, advertisement on Facebook, Google now, you don't see any fake Audrey Tang selling you crypto or giving you stock anymore. So this shows if you have a good broad listening device, even if AI makes very quick evolution to cause damage, you can steer the AI into the good direction together.
Thank you. So David,
Well, I think if you slow down TikTok, it'll also address the population decline issue. but more seriously, I think we were discussing this earlier. Population decline is a very complex issue. The AI cannot make people have kids, or digital public goods cannot make people magically repopulate. I think where we're coming at is there's structural changes with a declining population. Maybe that's the way it is, and AI technologies can help make people live more fulfilling lives. For example, better healthcare system. People can be more productive. So maybe the younger people can finish their jobs earlier and take care of their parents or grandparents. So I think when we think about population decline, what I'm thinking is how can AI help the population improve the quality of life, not necessarily addressing something that maybe we cannot solve as a technology.
So this voice and choice also including that kind of discussion, because nowadays media just say population decline is a bad thing, and also we should have a baby. That is of course one good topic. But if, like you said, if one people choose, AI can be my, care person, that is one of the new choice. And if that kind of the AI is good for the taking care of the people, I think that is one choice. So that kind of new, choice and voice is based on the digital public goods. I mean the open source and also the open AI, open AI model. Not open AI model.
Two words, not one word.
Open AI model. It's complicated, but anyway. So, but going back to the challenge in Japan, especially is population is shrinking, and what we need is we need a tailor-made services, not only one service, but also for example, sub-Saharan Africa. Population growing rapidly, totally different from the Japan. So, like, we cannot wear the same, suits. We need to change by ourselves. And one more topic. So this is left-hand side is according to the OECD. This is a digital government readiness. And like Korea, Denmark, and the UK is already kind of ready for the digital government. But like Japan, we are not yet ready for the digital government. Of course, this is sad, but this sad is opportunity. Like Audrey is an evangelist for the voice and choice.
Yes.
And also the David, Sakana AI is a great AI from Japan, more, how can I say, plurality kind of the AI. So we can use that kind of the digital public goods and AI to creating our own governmental system or maybe our, my necessary applications. So what the good for the open source is, of course, this is a reusable and also the scalable. And what important is the low cost. This is great. So we don't have to pay billions of dollars for the one company. We can use choose the open source and creating by our own. I think that is much cheaper than before. And what a beauty is, open source is good to the collaboration. So collaboration, as Audrey said, not broadcasting, but broad listening and collecting the voices and creating the collaboration is a very key. And we have opportunity here. So from now, David and Audrey have some example. So let's move on to the example. So from now, we have some case studies. And Audrey and David will explain the case study and also what kind of challenge or what kind of the learning they had before. So first, Audrey, could you please explain your example?
Yes. So the broad listening tools we pioneered in Taiwan, I am now cyber ambassador. Cyber means to steer, like steering a ship, Kybernetes from Greek. And so I share with the world how we steered AI in Taiwan, not just in Japan, but also many other countries. For example, I was just in California, and the governor of California, Gavin Newsom, launched the platform, Engaged California, so that people can talk about how to recover from the wildfire in Los Angeles in a way that build bridges instead of screaming and shouting at each other. Good ideas. But it's not just for disaster. There can also be a normal conversation about the future. For example, this website called whatcouldbgbe.com. BG stands for Bowling Green. It is a small city in Kentucky. And what they did is that they asked everybody in the Bowling Green area, what do you want the future of Bowling Green be? Some people say they want better infrastructure, transportation. Some people say they should be better museum. Some people say, oh, we are distinct from Nashville, a nearby large city, and we should build our own culture, and so on. Previously, if all those thousands of people write letter to the mayor don't have time to read them all. And also, I don't know what you wrote. But now using the POLIS system, which is the digital public good open source, it showed everybody what other people have written, and people can upvote or downvote. But no reply button, so there's no room for fighting. And then, very quickly, an AI system, they use Gemini, to look at all the different ideas and different upvote and downvote and discover the topic. And once you click into the topic, it shows you what people agree on and write a very good summary that gives the mayor the executive report. And once the mayor or the museum curator or the industry developer start reacting, then the AI can go back to find the influence function. Whose word was contributing to this statement? So once we do this, have a checkbox, it can go back to the original people and say, thank you. Because of your feedback, we're now doing this and closing the loop together. And we discovered very quickly that people do not trust a closed model to do the summary. People are afraid of hallucination, of bias, especially cultural bias. And so working with the POLIS team, just last week, we switched Gemini to Gemma QAT, which is an open source version of Gemini that runs on your phone, on your laptop. So everybody can verify the summarization, closing the loop by themselves. And so this is what we learned. The powerful AI by itself do not convince people. You have to trust the people to verify in a transparent way using open source small models that they can verify themselves. And that is how you can gain trust into the democratic process.
Wow, beautiful. So that green is showing that people is agree.
Yes.
And that kind of visualization is also easy to see the people's voice.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. The voice become public choice.
Yeah. Great.
Question about this one. So it's very interesting that you brought out that you actually can ditch the large proprietary model and use an open source solution. And moreover, it's not just because of saving costs, it's to gain trust of the people.
Yes.
And I was wondering, after this project, do you envision changes that will happen in the community due to this system? What are you seeing?
Definitely. What we have seen is that it's not just the mayor. We have a lot of committed listeners. So people who already commit to see the part related to their work. For example, if I am a museum curator and I see the machine-generated summary, enhanced aesthetics, beautification, distinct local identity, maybe next time I curate my museum to reflect those themes, those ideas. So it means that people have a very accurate, high-resolution group picture, like a group selfie. I take a group selfie, and I know that you also prefer this. So we see a lot less polarization. People don't say, oh, because you vote for Republican, or I vote for Democrat, or I'm in a rural place, you're in the urban place. We start hating each other. No, we see that even we have differences. We have much more in common than we have the differences. So it leads to a depolarization of people. So the bridge-making system can reduce polarization. This is a very rigorous social science result.
Yeah. Very cool, thank you.
So this is actually from the Taiwan's, you developed
we,
before.
pollinate, like a bee.
Pollinate are great.
To the
so,
US.
For example, if we want to use in Japan, just download from the Gabzel or
yes,
where?
You can go to Polis. POL.is.
Polis. Okay.
We just tried one in the Tokyo Metropolitan University. 300 people immediately agree that AI saves public servant time, and it's not to fire public servant, rather their time should be spent to care about the younger people.
Beautiful.
So that's the consensus.
Beautiful, powerful. Thank you so much. And the next showcase is from the David. Could you please explain?
Yeah. So one of the open projects that we tried to produce is a very powerful language model, an LLM, but it's an SLM, a small language model, that has most of the capabilities of a large language model, but fits on a phone or even inside a low-cost PC. But why would we want to do something like this? Like, why? So I think you may have discussed this earlier as well, and this shares my own worldview. I think right now, these large language models we're using is really the mainframe of our generation. Like, we're consuming so much electricity, resources, data, just to train these huge models, and these models just go out of date after 6 months. And just with mainframe computers becoming a smartphone in 2 decades, I think that in 5 years or even less, most of the capabilities of today's frontier models would also fit in a small phone. And what we want to do is to start working on this, start working on building these small, capable models that everyone can access and control, because we're going to get there. Like, if it's not us, it'll be someone else. So as a proof of concept, we took a very large open source model, a large Genma model from Google.
Oh, the same model.
Yeah, maybe one of the larger ones, a 32B model. And we developed a new distillation technique to compress the capabilities of a large model into like a 1 to 2 billion size parameter model. That might seem large in our like when we were growing up, but now these phones have like a terabyte, so they can fit in a phone. And we've also tried to make this model have a high degree of a Japanese language capability because we want to deploy these systems in Japan. So we collaborated with Institute of Science in Tokyo, which is formerly the Tokyo Tech, on obtaining the data and also the know-how on fine-tuning our model to their system. So This model actually allows us to explore several things as an R&D company. One, because the way we interact with AI can be very, very close. I might tell my most personal secrets to an LLM agent that I may not even tell to my closest friends. And you don't necessarily want that data to be sent through an API to like California, right? You want it to be on your device.
Yep.
So we want to explore building customized private AI assistants that can only see your data, and that data remains in your phone. We also want to, now because LLMs enable many workflow, it's no longer just a language model. They enable agents that can do things for you. When you want an agent to do things for you, you don't want to rely on an API that's located across the ocean. Like you want it to be on your phone. So this model allows us to explore building workflows that are only on the device. Because the model is so small, it might even be useful on creating NPC characters that are more alive in online games or offline games, as we call it. And lastly, it'll help explore building these small AI agents that would even talk to other AI agents with other phones. So I think this is a very promising direction of building small, powerful AI models, because they're going to be as powerful as the large ones anyway. So we should at least explore what we can do with it.
But this is a huge change maker. I mean, we can secure the data, and also light that we can work on the iPhone. But now not the government, but some company paying lots of money for the big company to making a secured and also the big system. But this is open source. If
anyone can download it.
Yeah,
it's like solar panel. You can install it yourself.
Yeah.
So what's in it for you? The economy.
Yeah, this is a good analogy because many people point out that AI is the new electricity, kind of this buzzword, and maybe they view the APIs as your electricity grid into your application layer, and maybe that's the frontier models is like nuclear energy, as you mentioned, but these small models on device, they're like a solar panel. Another form of electricity.
This is a great example, like socket. We can change the big one. We need a big socket, but a very small one, just using a small, electricity. Wow, this is powerful, and we can download from the Sakana AI's blog. Yeah, right?
Yeah, this is open source on a Hugging Face.
Yeah, and also, David, you have another example.
Oh, this is a really fun project, and it's also to do with. Actually, what we learned from this project is really to think about the data that we're using to develop our models. This particular project, we wanted to collaborate with the National Museum of Japanese History and National Institute of Japanese Literature, and this work was led by researcher Tareen Kaniwa, who works as a research scientist at Sakana AI, who actually studied Japanese literature during her PhD. And we wanted to produce an LLM that understands this pre-modern Japanese context, with the original goal of helping us transcribe documents. But what happened was, as we're developing this LLM trained on these historical documents provided by the museum, we found that it's actually a nice chatbot. So you can actually talk to a samurai, or a virtual samurai from the Edo period by talking to this LLM.
Yeah.
And we decided to release it as a chatbot rather than a general LLM. And people had a lot of fun with it because it was trained on a few thousand books from 2 to 3 centuries ago. So it understands the world view of the Edo period. But because the model was already an existing model, it understands current, the current worldview. So you can ask this chatbot, what's a cat meme? And it will answer in a way that's, cat memes are a very, interesting topic from a world that I don't understand in the future. So I think this is an example of a fun project where we can show that LLMs and AIs can be adapted to cultures, different societies, by just molding it with the data that we have and the values that we have.
Right. But I think this one and also this samurai one, this is kind of the Sakana AI's voluntary open source work, right?
Yes, this is also an open source
Yeah.
with the collaboration with the National Institute of Japanese Literature.
So David, I have a question. Of course, you are the startup, so you need to make money, and you have a lot of investors too. But you're also working on this kind of open source project. How do you balance this kind of open source and also the money? I mean, the like startup kind of the work. How do you balance those two?
This is a great question. I mean, most companies now are like building large models, and they raise a bunch of money from venture capitalists only to train the next largest model that will depreciate in the next 6 months. So there will be business model questions in the current AI companies. From my point of view, the way I see it is that when you want to, money is made when you provide value. So where is the value that's being provided is in the applications and services built on top of AI. And these projects, even though I'm talking about it now, they're actually like a small percentage of what our company does. We spend a tremendous amount of time working with enterprise and the public sector on developing the application layer that sits on top of AI models that would provide like a workflow automation, like a document analysis, and the likes. So recently, our company also participated in a defense tech challenge that was co-organized by the Japanese Ministry of Defense, the Boeisho, and also with the US Department of Defense. And we proposed methods of using foundation models to attack, to mitigate disinformation, like fake news, from the perspective of Japan. Like, Japan might not care about, at least the government might not care about a particular type of fake images, but they care about like fake natural disasters and so on. So our system can target those type of fake images. And we've also applied our system to for example, counter the spread of viruses, real viruses, for things like the bio attacks. What if another COVID scenario happens? And we found that these small LLM agents are actually quite useful in mimicking what human behavior. So it can actually, if you have like 10,000 of these small LLM agents, they can help mimic how people move around in Tokyo, and it might like model the distribution of where the virus might spread more accurately. So there's a ton of things we can do to add value, and I think that if once for the company to grow and be successful, we have to add value, and then we'll be rewarded by money, by business opportunities.
I have a question for Audrey too. This kind of Sakana AI is, our proud of, kind of a unicorn startup. But that kind of the startup is supporting also the open source. This kind of is this a trend, or this is a very unique case for your point of view?
Yeah, to me, sustainable high-tech means something that is good for the current generation, the next quarter, but is also even better for the next generation, right? That's what sustainable means.
Yeah.
In the more VC take-off kind of funding, you have to navigate the hype cycle. You have a lot of hype, unrealistic expectation.
Yeah.
And many just die here once they fall to the disillusionment. And then after that, only a few can find the product market fit where it really adds value. But that's the classic Silicon Valley thinking. What I learned from Sakana is that I was in the Miraikan, the Future Museum.
Yeah.
There was an interactive demo of the quantum tunneling effect. It says instead of bumping to climb the wall, you can send some wave to the front. Yeah. And if the wall is thin enough, you just tunnel through that wall and you just go to where it creates value. So to me, this kind of open source models are like the waves that Sakana makes. Fish makes wave, I think the metaphor holds. So that when people reusing some of those smaller model, open source model, and find where the value can be created, maybe Sakana doesn't even know that value can be created there, but the ecosystem discovered that. And so then the Sakana AI can say, oh, let's make a business line of that value. So it shortened the time it takes from the initial research and the expectation to the actual productivity. And so it's like quantum tunneling over the hype cycle.
Thank you so much. Great. So one more showcase you have.
So I'll quickly talk about this one. So I think one of the amazing capabilities that we're finding about these AI models is they can produce new ideas. So hallucination is a feature and a bug. So sometimes the ideas might not work out, but just like many scientists, sometimes these ideas do work out. So in a work that we published last year called The AI Scientist, which became quite popular, it was featured on a Nature magazine, we devised the world's first system of using these large language models as AI scientist agents to produce entire scientific papers. And recently, one of the papers actually passed the human review process of a top machine learning conference workshop track. So I think we're quite proud of this work, but it does raise many questions in the future. Like, if we have such powerful models that can produce incredible discoveries, especially in AI, like who should control these technologies? And our view is right now, because the stage is quite limited, like these are more like co-scientists than scientists, we open source the AI scientists so that everyone can build on top of it, so that no single company or government has access to control this kind of system. But like this also raises many concerns. For example, if applied outside of AI research, maybe it can produce like viruses or dangerous chemical compounds. So this technology is also dual use, and there's many ethical implications of it.
Great, thank you. So now we only have 4 minutes, but if you have a question, I will have one question from the audience.
This one.
マイクあります？あ、そちらの左手の女性の。
ありがとうございます。一番最初の方にシンギュラリティ、置き去りにされてしまうシンギュラリティというお話ですとか、その後に多元性、取り残さないプルラリティというお話があったかなと思うんですけれども、これは本当に対になっているっていうお考えでしょうか。私はなんとなく表裏一体になっているのかなと思っていて、もしこれが表裏一体なのであれば、そのシンギュラリティの今の在り方にもプルラリティをこれから追求していくヒントがあるのではないかなと思うんですけれども、なんかそちらに関してお考えあればお願いいたします。
ありがとうございます。So her question is very interesting about the singularity and also plurality. And she is wondering the singularity and plurality is contrast fighting each other, or it will be maybe the balance with the singularity sometimes, the plurality sometimes. So it is completely different one, or each other is working together. What is your thought?
Very good question. To me, singularity is the vertical path. It leaves everybody behind, right? And it just accelerates and accelerates. And plurality is the horizontal path. It means that the new capability, like electricity, are well understood, connected by everyone. So even if there are some dual use, like the biology, cyber attack, and so on, how to defend is also well known by everybody. And the horizontal path leaves no one behind. Now, some of the ideas that people discover using small models, for example, how to interpret the AI ideas so that when it's trying to hallucinate, it's trying to hallucinate. If it's trying to fool you, to lie to you, it can also detect the lie. A lot of those research can be done in a small model, in a plurality way. In fact, it is much easier if it's done on the small model. Large model, very difficult to interpret. And if we discover some of those ways to make AI more ethical, more transparent, more explainable, the hope is that even for people working on singularity, they will apply the same AI MRI tools to their large takeoff models. So at least if they summon a very powerful being, that being will be good for humanity. They will learn to care.
Yeah.
It will have Buddha nature like egoist, not trying to absorb everything to its own, but rather care for the people. So the plurality path by itself treat AI as normal technology. But even for people who treat AI as super intelligence, our contribution can still make it much safer. I hope that answered your question.
Wow, thank you so much. Well, I think like plurality is very familiar for the Asian culture.
Yes.
I don't want to differentiate the kind of the races, but very easy to understand. Sometimes I feel very calm. Listen to your story and also the plurality philosophy. If we can work on that kind of rely on the plurality, I think people can easily and more calm to live, survive. So I want to the audience, you guys, to understanding the plurality and also the something you learned from here and to also the action to the plurality and also the digital public good and AI world. Thank you, Audrey,
Thank you.
and also the David.
Thank you, David. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much once again. 皆さん改めて大きな拍手お願いします。Audrey, Tang, David, Mariko, Nishimura, thank you very much. ありがとうございました。
That was great.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you so much.
That's great.
Great to see
Thank
you.
you. Thank you.